Have you ever had the feeling that inside you there is an entire universe that not even you fully understand? Fears, desires, memories, wounds, dreams, all living together in an invisible space that shapes every step you take. That is exactly the universe philosophy tries to decipher, the human universe. In today's video here on the world of Viktor Frankl, we're going to dive deeply into what it means to be human, why we search for meaning, and how philosophy, especially through the lens of Viktor Frankl, can help us illuminate this mystery we carry within. If you feel that your life is more than routine, bills, and obligations, this video is for you. When we talk about unveiling the human universe, we are not referring to a superficial curiosity about behavior. We are talking about something radical, trying to understand who we are, where our strength comes from, why we suffer, why we seek to love, create, and transform the world around us. Philosophy is born precisely from this astonishment before our own existence. It asks, what is the human being? Are we merely organized matter? Are we the result of chance? Or is there within us a deeper dimension that longs for meaning, direction, and significance? To unveil the human universe is to look inward with courage. It is to admit that we do not fully know ourselves, but that we can walk toward a greater understanding of who we are. And on this path, great philosophers, which from Socrates to Viktor Frankl, have become our companions on the journey, provoking, questioning, and pointing toward new possibilities. A profound way to understand the human universe is to imagine that it has, at the very least, three major dimensions. The first is the body. It is the biological, physical level. Here lie our basic needs: hunger, sleep, pain, physical pleasure. We are bodily beings, limited by time, illness, and fatigue. The body constantly reminds us that we are finite. The second dimension is the psyche. It is the world of feelings, thoughts, memories, traumas, desires. This is where psychology comes in. Our fears, our insecurities, our emotional patterns. The psyche is like an ocean in constant movement, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. But Viktor Frankl highlights a third dimension, the spirit, not necessarily in a religious sense, but as the dimension of meaning, conscience, and inner freedom. It is at this level that we ask questions such as, what is worth living for? What truly matters? What is worth suffering for, if necessary? The body asks, what do I need to survive? The psyche asks, what do I feel? What do I desire? The spirit asks, why and for what purpose? To unveil the human universe is to learn to listen to these three voices within, without reducing the human being to just one of them. When we reduce everything to the body, we lose depth. When we reduce everything to the psyche, we lose transcendence. It is in the dialogue between these dimensions that we begin to understand our true greatness and also our fragility. If the human being is this complex universe of body, psyche, and spirit, it is no surprise that our life is made of tensions. Philosophy has always observed these fundamental tensions. One of them is the tension between freedom and security. On one hand, we want security, predictability, comfort. On the other, we desire freedom, autonomy, the ability to choose our own paths. When we choose only security, we feel trapped. When we choose only freedom, we may feel lost. Another tension is between pleasure and meaning. The pursuit of pleasure is not wrong in itself. But when pleasure becomes the only criterion, something within us remains empty. As if a deeper part were saying, okay, this is enjoyable, but so what? What does this mean in my life? Many philosophers and thinkers, and Viktor Frankl in a very clear way, have shown that the human being does not thrive on pleasure alone. He needs a reason to live. There is also the tension between the self and the we. We are individuals with unique stories, personal desires, individual projects. But at the same time, no one finds meaning separated from the world, without relationships, without bonds, without responsibility toward others. We are relational beings. When we ignore this, we become sick with loneliness or egoism. These tensions are not flaws in the human universe. They are part of our very structure. To philosophize is to learn to inhabit these tensions with clarity, without surrendering to easy answers or destructive extremes. In Viktor Frankl, these questions cease to be theory and become extreme experience. As a prisoner in concentration camps, he saw the human being placed at the very edge of what is bearable. A humiliated body, a crushed psyche, a future seemingly destroyed. And it was in this setting that Frankl confirmed something radical. Even when everything is taken away from a person, external freedom, possessions, status, comfort, there still remains something that no one can take, the freedom to choose one's attitude towards suffering. This is the great insight of logotherapy. The human being is in essence a seeker of meaning. He can endure almost any how if he has a sufficiently strong why. In the midst of horror, Frankl noticed that those who still had a sense of meaning, a love, a task to fulfill, a faith, a commitment to someone or to something greater, had a greater chance of resisting internally. In other words, the human universe is not reduced to circumstances. There is within us a dimension that can say yes to life, even when life seems to say no to us. When we bring this into our everyday lives, the question shifts. Instead of merely asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we begin to ask, "What is a life asking of me right now? What response can I give to this situation so that it becomes meaningful?" This is how Frankl's philosophy invites us to see the human universe, as a space of inner freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning. All of this may sound very beautiful in theory, but the real question is, what do you do with it in your life? Perhaps at this moment, you are going through a crisis, at work, in relationships, in your health, or even in your faith. Perhaps you feel a difficult to explain emptiness. Nothing is exactly wrong, yet at the same time, nothing seems really right. Philosophy, especially in dialogue with Viktor Frankl, does not come to deny your suffering. It comes to ask a different question. What could this experience you are living mean? Not in the sense of romanticizing pain, but in recognizing that very often it is in confronting suffering that we discover who we truly are, what we truly value, what truly matters. So I invite you to a small inner exercise now. First, think of a difficult situation you are experiencing today. It can be something external or something within yourself. Second, ask yourself honestly, what kind of person do I want to become through this? What would be the most dignified, most human, most faithful response to my values in this situation? Third, identify one small, concrete action you can take in the next 24 hours that aligns with that response. Something that brings you closer to the person you want to be. By doing this, you are, quietly but powerfully, unveiling your own human universe. You are moving from the role of a passive victim to that of the author of your own story. This is the heart of living philosophy. It is not just thinking, it is living more consciously and more truthfully. Unveiling the human universe is a journey that never ends. With each experience, each choice, each loss, and each achievement, something new is revealed within us. Philosophy does not come to give ready-made answers. It comes to sharpen our questions, deepen our perspective, and remind us that life is above all an opportunity for response. A response to the world, to others, and to the inner calling we feel, even when we cannot explain it. If this video has sparked in you a question, a discomfort, or a desire to look inward with greater honesty, then it has already fulfilled its purpose. I want to hear from you. What for you is the most mysterious aspect of being human? At what moment in your life did you feel that you were touching something deeper, something beyond the day-to-day? Share your experiences, doubts, and reflections in the comments. If this content resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel The World of Viktor Frankl, and share this video with someone who is seeking greater depth in life. In the next videos, we will continue exploring this fascinating human universe together. See you next time.